What's up, YouTube? My name is Bigboysnacksjonnytv. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And tonight I will be going over my AEW Dynamite review on how. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content on the channel like this. Follow my social media down below in the description. And go check out my WWE NXT review on highlights because I posted that video yesterday. Alright. AEW Dynamite was a decent show, and I give it a 6.7 out of 10. This is AEW was live from Baltimore, Maryland, Chesapeake Employees Insurance Arena. AEW Dynamite kicks off with a video package of Jon Moxley backstage talking. He begins by saying that this is the singles greatest roster of pure talent ever assembled under one roof. No one can get their things together. The thing is, no one wants it. He says this is his life, work that won't be bought or sold. He said the Young Bucks have returned and it's interesting, but it's surrounded by warriors. A world champion, a king on the front line, but he hasn't recognized them in a long time, and they better figure it out and be careful before they make any moves. We we cut to the ring, and out comes the AEW World Champion Jon Moxley to the ring, along with Maria Shafir. All right, so we get Jon Moxley versus Kazuyori Shibata, and this was a quick match. The bell rings were underway. A race lock by Shibata, which Moxley gets out of, and both men on their feet. Shibata with a big slap across the chest, and Jon Moxley with a chop to the chest of his own, and both men exchange chops. Moxley to the ropes, and he lands two boots to the face, but Shibata with a heel trip followed by a chin lock. He gets Jon Moxley into an octopus hole, but lets Jon Moxley out of it and gets Jon Moxley in the corner. He goes for a right hand, but Jon Moxley with a clothesline. He goes for the cover, but Shibata kicks out. A power driver by Jon Moxley, but Shibata gets right back up and kicks Jon Moxley in the head. A snap mirror by followed by a chin lock, but Jon Moxley reverses it into a rear choke of his own. Shibata is out, and the referee calls for the bell. The winner of the match, Jon Moxley. This was a quick match. Out comes Matthews and Nicholas Jackson to the ring. After the match, they are face to face with Maria Shafir, but Jon Moxley waves her away, and they both leave the ring to the fans booing. The Young Bucks begin by telling the fans to congratulate Jon Moxley and to show love to the AEW founding fathers. The EVPs, the fans boo, and they tell them to shut the F up. They say that they have a few reasons as to why they did what they did to Swerve Strickland. The first is that they did it for their good friend, Hangman Adam Page. They talk about how Page never wanted Swerve to be world champion, and they love him. The fans chant, "Whose house? Swerve's house." The EVP says that what they did was a piece of offering to Jon Moxley. They have no problem with him and hope that he has no problem with them. And while they were away, they realized they have things in common with him. They want the guys in the back to step up, just like them. They want to change the world, just like them, and they are impressed because Jon Moxley did what they couldn't do. He succeeded in taking over AEW and even has the world title. They couldn't do that. They talk about the Death Riders working with the Elite. Jon Moxley, the World Heavyweight Champion, and the AEW founding fathers together. They asked Jon Moxley to come back out with his boys to discuss business. Kenny Omega's song hits, and out he comes. The fans chant Kenny Omega as he says he was going to the hospital months back. They push him off the stretcher, but he forgives them, and when he came back, he did it for the safety of the company, not for revenge. He says he used to have a friend in high school who had two dogs and they would stop barking. Even time he saw his friend, the two dogs would poop on the floor and his friend didn't care. but at the time went but as time went by, more poop kept collecting, and the stains left behind were become more evident. Kenny Omega told him they should move back to his place, and that's how AEW was. That's how AEW was when he was not around. Last time they saw the EVPs, they were shredding documents, but spoiler, the EVPs love to brag about their money. They were tearing up receipts for their private jets, but it doesn't matter. He says if it wasn't because of the Death Riders, they almost killed AEW. He tells them that them being away did them well. Nick Nick Jackson, he looks exactly like the 90 pounds when he left. Kenny Omega tells him he can go on, but he's thinking of cutting out of the middleman for him to get in the ring and fight. Kenny Omega gets on the ring apron, but out comes Okada. He gets on the ring apron and Swerve Strickland music hits. Swerve Strickland comes in from behind with their steel chair, and the EVP along with Okada leave the ring. The fans chant Swerve's house, and he throws the chair away. Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland fist bump, and Kenny Omega leaves the ring. Swerve Strickland says it is now, but it is now bug hunting season, and he is here with a loaded shotgun, ready to blast on some EVPs. He tells them they couldn't leave well enough alone. As he is talking, Pac hits him from behind. Not a fan of the opening match, particularly the getting right back up from a power driver that was all about after the match, and it was as if the Young Bucks had gone away. Kenny Omega is the star out of them, but his promo at one point was off. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. Alright, commercial break. So we get the next match. Swerve Strickland versus Pac. And this was the ending was fast, but the match was quick but it had a fast ending. The bell rings, we are underway. Swerve with a right hand, followed by a boot to the face. Pac rolls to the outside and Swerve throws him into the barricade and the ring steps. Pac rolls into the ring and Swerve gets back in. Pac goes for a hurricanrana, but Swerve catches him and throws him into the turnbuckle. Swerve climbs the second rope and lands an elbow onto Pac's neck. Pac rolls out to the outside of the ring, and the doctor is checking up on him as Swerve stands in the ring. The referee works on Pac's right leg. Pac rolls back into the ring, hobbling on one foot, and Swerve hits him with a kick to the face. Swerve climbs to the top rope and Swerve with a swerve stomp. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Swerve Strickland. That was a fast ending. Pac was really hurt, and they rightfully called an audible ending the match. Not sure where he might have gotten hurt, but that buckle bomb looked bad too. I agree with that. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. So we go to commercial break. Renee Paquette is with Renee Paquette is with Adam Page. He tells her he doesn't know who he is facing, but he has to do something. He enters Swerve's locker room and asks Prince Nana where Swerve is at. He says at Dynasty he was not trying to help Swerve. And next week, if Swerve thinks of getting in the ring, he will put up with him where he left. He will pick where he left off. Prince Nana tells him that there is something he has been wanting to tell him for the last year. He says he regrets, but Paige cuts him off and tells him not to say another word. Paige storms out, and we cut to the ring. So we get the 4,008 man tag team match. Will Ospreay, Kevin Knight, Mark Briscoe, and Speedball Mike Bailey versus Ricochet, the Beast Mortoros, and the CRU, Leo Rush, and Action Adrenaline. And this match right here, this match right here, it was just, how do I say it? It was just a solid match. All right. The bell rings. We are underway. Bailey and Ricochet start the match. Bailey goes out to Ricochet, but Ricochet goes to the outside of the ring, and the Beast Motors is tagged in. Bailey lands in Hurricanrana, and Ricochet is tagged back in. Leo West is tagged in, and Will Ospreay. Leo West is tagging as Will Ospreay. Action Adrenaline gets in the ring, and that distracts Will Ospreay, allowing Leo Rush to attack him from behind. Action Adrenaline is tagging, and they double team Will Ospreay, who is down. Ricochet is tagging, but Will Ospreay fights everyone off. All 8 men get in the ring, and the fight begins. Okay, so we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Bailey is in the ring with the Beast Motors. Kick by Bailey, but Motars gets to his feet, and he slams Bailey chest press onto his knees. Both men are down, and Ricochet is tagged in. Ricochet with a double stomp, but in comes Mark Briscoe, and he takes Ricochet down. The Beast Motors takes Mark Briscoe down with a pop up Samoan drop. Knight gets in, he lands a DDT. Andrade and Leo Rush gets in the ring, and they double team Leo Rush. Will Ospreay gets in the ring, and he takes them both down. Ricochet puts Will Ospreay to the outside, and Bailey kicks Ricochet from behind. He goes for a knee drop, but Ricochet moves out of the way, and Ricochet lands a Death Valley driver. He goes for the cover, but Bailey kicks out. The Beast Motors is tagged in, and Mark Briscoe clotheslines Ricochet to the outside of the ring. Bailey with a boot onto Motors, and then comes Mark Briscoe and Will Ospreay. They triple team Motors, Kevin Knight with a modified fall splash off the top rope. He goes for the cover, but Leo Rush and Action Adrenaline breaks it up. Will Ospreay tag in, and he hits Motars with the hidden blade. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match: Will Ospreay, Kevin Knight, Mark Briscoe, and Speedball Mike Bailey. This was a fun 8 man tag team match. But the only person that can take the title off of Jon Moxley is Will Ospreay. I would love to see Will Ospreay versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Title, and have Jon Moxley drop the title to Will Ospreay. That's just my opinion. I'm going to stand on it. Alright. We see clips of FTR attacking Cope at Dynasty. Out comes the Hurt Syndicate, and MVP chants from the crowd. MVP begins to speak and says this is an official announcement from the Hurt Syndicate. He tells everyone that 2 more challengers got beaten down. MVP begins passing out bottles and glasses with the table set up in the ring. They toast to another successful championship defense. MJF music hits, and he gets in the ring. He stands next to Shelton Benjamin and smiles. Bobby Lashley does not look assumed. MJF tells them that they hurt people and how they are dripped in gold. He says this could not have come in a better time because Tony Khan wanted him to take part in an Owen Hart tournament and for him to sweat. Both but he works smarter, not harder. And now that he is rolling with the Hurt Syndicate, he gets to take back what is his, and that is the Triple B. He says this is perfect business relationship. He scratches their backs, and they get to help him. He asks MVP how to intonation works, and Lashley tells him to shut up. Everyone saw what MJF did, and MJF tried to help them, but he didn't get the job done. He tells him that is another reason why they don't need him. MJF tells him not to point at him, and both men begin to argue. Sean Benjamin and MVP get in the way to break it up. MVP tells MJF they go way back, but in order for MJF to join the Hurt Syndicate, he has to get 3 thumbs up. MVP puts his thumb up, and Sean Benjamin puts his sideways and turns it down. Sean Benjamin and Bobby Lashley hug and leave the ring. MVP looks at MJF strong and leaves the ring. MJF is standing in the ring angry as the Hurt Syndicate heads to the back. This was a solid segment. Solid segment between the Hurt Syndicate and MJF. I have always preferred MJF when he was a lone wolf and not with anyone, this is good. This was a good segment. Alright, it was a solid segment. So we go to commercial break. Timeless Tony Storm walks down is at ringside for the match. All right, so we get the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Thunder Rosa versus Chris Statlander. And this match right here, this was solid for what it was. The bell rings, we are underway. Chris Statlander with a shoulder tackle, but Thunder Rosa gets back up. Thunder Rosa with an arm drag takedown. Both women back up, and Chris Statlander with an arm drag, followed by a draw two hold. Chris Statlander runs to the ropes, but Thunder Rosa with a kick to the face. Thunder Rosa with a drop kick, and Chris Statlander falls to the outside of the ring. Thunder Rosa gets on the ring apron and lands a sitting senton. She throws Chris Statlander back into the ring and goes for the cover, but Chris Statlander kicks out. She grabs Chris Statlander, but Chris Statlander with a kick followed by a DDT. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Thunder Rosa with the Northern Lights suplex. Cover, but Chris Statlander kicks out. Thunder Rosa climbs to the top rope and jumps, but Chris Statlander catches her and slams her onto the mat. She goes for the cover, but Thunder Rosa kicks out. Chris Statlander lifts Thunder Rosa up on her shoulders, but Thunder Rosa with an arm drag, both women up, and Thunder Rosa with a Canadian destroyer. She goes for the cover, but Chris Statlander kicks out. Thunder Rosa with a running knee to the face. She goes for the cover, but Chris Statlander kicks out. Thunder Rosa with a slap to the face. She runs the ropes, but Chris Statlander with a clothesline followed by the knife grabber. She goes for the cover, and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Chris Statlander. This was a solid match. What it was. Adam Cole, Kyle Riley, and Roger Strong are backstage. They all talk about how it is a new era in AEW. All right, so we get TV time with the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, and the in this segment right here, yeah, this segment right here, I ain't gonna lie, this was a, I might as well say this was a, this was a decent segment. Chris Jericho music hits, and now he comes to the ring. He introduced himself, and he says he is no longer a Ring of Honor World Champion. He talks about how he lost his tooth and title on Sunday, but he has to give credit to Bandito after months of conflict with one of the great pro wrestler of all time. Bandito was victorious, and he won the little and saved his mask with the help of his family. But he gets it. Chris Jericho says he has his family too, and he introduced Big Bill and Brian Keith. Out they come, and Chris Jericho tells them he was hoping that they would win the tag team titles at AEW Dynasty. But as he is speaking, Big Bill cuts him off. He tells Chris Jericho that he knows what he is going to say, and he is angry, and he has every right to be. He is angry too, but he has been getting real angry. Big Bill tells Brian Keith that Chris Jericho needs to hear this. He tells Chris Jericho that he is no of the greatest of all time. One of the most decorated ever, and that is why he decides to join the Learning Tree. Yeah, the Learning Tree. It says the Learning Tree, and that is why he is decided to join the Learning Tree because he wanted to learn from him, but he did not sign up to be Chris Jericho's punching bag when things go wrong. Big Bill tells Chris Jericho that if and Brian Keith are out for Chris Jericho to teach them something, they go ahead and teach. but if they are there for Chris Jericho, they humiliate them for Chris Jericho to let them know right now, and he can't leave. He knows Brian Keith feels the same way. Chris Jericho asked Brian Keith if he does feel the same way, because that is not why he brought them out, and if that was there, and that they think they have a lot more to learn. Chris Jericho says he cares about them, and he handpicked them both by standing by him to teach them, to help them, and he does not he doesn't need he does not need to help anyone in AEW. And if he doesn't want to, he says they have potential and are future world champions. The wins are his win. Their failure are his failure. He says he lost the Ring of Honor world title and Big Bill wasn't there. Some might say it's Big Bill's fault that he lost the match, but it's not saying that he doesn't believe in that at all. He's not angry. He's just disappointed. Chris Jericho takes the swing at the television and the ring and breaks it. He says he is disappointed and that is been disappointed in them. Chris Jericho and until they change until they change that he thinks it is best that he leaves. Chris Jericho leaves the ring with Big Bill and Brian Keith in the ring. Okay, and the Hurt Syndicate and MJF. We come backstage to the Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley says everyone knows MJF is not to be trusted. He doesn't like MJF and they don't need him. Sean Benjamin says they don't need anyone but the little George Costana, Costana, Costanza. It's funny, and they both walk away, and then comes MJF, who asks MVP if he looked like a female dog. MVP asks him what's his point, what's the point is. MJF says he keeps being treated like a you know what, but he is MJF. MVP tells him that the problems they know who he is, and this is business, and in business you find yourself customer. You will find out what they want to give. They want, and you give it to them. Not a very good match between Thunder Rosa and Chris Stanley. Just not the best chemistry, but that happens. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. That was just a solid match, but not very good. It was just solid for what it was. Commercial break. Back from commercial, we see an angry Chris Jericho leave the arena. Death Rollins, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta versus the Samoa Joe and Hook. Back from commercial, we see an angry Chris Jericho leave the arena. Alright, so we get the main event of the evening. So we get Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta versus the Samoa Joe and Hook. This was a decent main event match right here. The bell rings, we are underway. Yuta and Samoa Joe start the match. Wheeler Yuta rolls to the outside of the ring, gets back in, and tags Claudio into the match. Claudio with an uppercut, but Samoa Joe with a chop to the chest followed by a jabs. He throws Claudio Castagnoli into the corner, and Hook is tagging. Right hands by Hook, but he had locked by Claudio Castagnoli, followed by a power slam. Wheeler Yuta is tagged back in, and he goes for a crossbody off the top rope, but Hook moves out of the way. He lands the three German suplex onto Wheeler Yuta, and Samoa Joe tag in. The three gentlemen suplexes onto Wheeler Yuta, and Samoa Joe is tagging, and Samoa Joe with left jabs and a chop. Samoa Joe with a running elbow, and Hook is tagged back in. Right hand by Hook, and Wheeler Yuta is thrown onto the ring apron. Wheeler Yuta to the outside. He grabs Hook by the by the leg and Hook kicks him away. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Wheeler Yuta with a backdrop onto Hook. He goes for the cover, but Hook kicks out. Claudio Castagnoli tag in Hook with a T-bone suplex. Wheeler Yuta is tagging and he runs into the ring, hitting Samoa Joe with a right hand. Samoa Joe with a suplex onto Wheeler Yuta and both men are down. Claudio Castagnoli is tagging and they hit his Hook up and uppercut. He goes for the cover, but Hook kicks out. Wheeler Yuta is tagging and they double team Hook. He goes for the cover, but Hook kicks out. Samoa Joe gets up and throws Claudio Castagnoli into the ring, into the barricade. But outruns, but outruns John Moxley and that distracts the referee, allowing Wheeler Yuta to poke Hook in the eyes. John Moxley grabs a steel chair, but out comes Shibata, who fights John Moxley. Hook with a chokehold onto Wheeler Yuta in the ring, and Samoa Joe with a clutch on Claudio Castagnoli on the outside of the ring. Wheeler Yuta taps out, and the referee calls for the bell. The winner of the match, Samoa Joe and Hook. This was a decent match. Mauricio Fear hit Samoa Joe and Hook with a steel chair after the match. Claudio Castagnoli lands the neutralizer on Hook on the steel chair. Samoa Joe gets in the ring, and the Death Riders leave the ring. Samoa Joe knows what he is getting a microphone. After the match, he calls the Death Riders coward, sons of you know what. Samoa Joe challenged them to a match and in a trio championship match, and the AEW Dynamite goes off there. DC main event. Samoa Joe is still a very fun to watch, and Hook has grown a lot recently. But this was all about after the match and the challenge for the titles. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. Yeah. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. Not a bad AEW Dynamite, but a lot of talking. I'm not a fan of those overruns. They easily could have cut 10 more minutes from the show and had it end at the top of the hour. Hashtag AEW Dynamite and AEW Dynamite goes off the air. All right, let me be real and let me give my honest opinion what I think about AEW Dynamite. Now, AEW Dynamite was a decent show, and I give it a 6.7 out of 10. If you guys enjoy my AEW Dynamite review on highlights, make sure you guys please watch this video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content on the channel that I do, for more wrestling content that I do on the channel. Follow my social media down below in the description, and I will make a 3-minute YouTube short video of me showing you guys my doing twice my 3-minute YouTube short video, but help me get to 1,000 views with a lot of comments. And go check out my WWE NXT review on highlights I posted on the channel yesterday. And I'm going to have an upcoming world premiere my AEW Dynamite review and highlights at 4 o'clock a.m. right here on YouTube. So make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.